John, don't move, because what we're going to do is we're going to see if there are any questions that people would like to throw at you or any of our speakers that we've had today. Christine, because I saw you first.
It's not so much a question, it's a point that I wanted to mention earlier because of Gareth. Where is Gareth? Hello! Well, I do want to ask you about that river handball shoot, because obviously I used to live there, but we won't talk about that. So there is actually a company, and probably a few, that have wellbeing facilitators, and that's something I would really encourage studios and productions to look into. One is called 6 Foot from the Spotlight. They ensure there's mental health measures on set, they manage bullying, breaks, if overtime is reasonable, and it's a real resource that just isn't staple right now, and it should really just be a default for everyone.
It's really a question to John. In your talk, you mentioned everything except parents and educators, which is disappointing because it's the educators that you want to get in to help this industry. You want to get them to talk to the parents, to make parents realise that, you know, being in the film industry is not a sort of just today. And I would hope that that is in your improvement plan, because if it isn't, you need to rewrite it. Just to tell you that, okay? Opportunity bucks is something that Martin Tett has put into place, levelling up. And there are 6 wards in Wickham. One of them is the ward I represent, which is where Bucks College is going, which I'm really looking forward to. And I think that that's another thing. We do have some funding there, and let's talk about it, because we have a skills, don't want to say, part of Opportunity Bucks. We need to talk, and it needs to go into your skills plan. Have you got Opportunity Bucks in your skills plan? Because if you haven't, you should.
You're absolutely right, and I thought I'd mentioned the importance of entry points and career pathways and providing alternative routes for young people, but I agree absolutely with you. All those things should definitely be in the plan.
So yeah, I wanted to make a point. I've been in this industry a long time. I've seen visual effects from its beginning to where it is today with virtual production, been around lots and lots of people trying to make it work. And just as a side point, they are suffering hugely with talent. But I think the point I want to make is that you've talked about educators, and I've, over the years, given the NFTS and Ravensbourne lots of equipment. That's brilliant. And you talked about the TV companies and the film companies, and that's great too. The thing you're forgetting is the manufacturers, right? These are the people who are actually driving the technology. So virtual production didn't come around because some director decided to use it. It came around because people started experimenting, showing this technology at SIGGRAPH, and began to mature it so it actually could be used on shoots. And manufacturers are constantly having to, innovate more and more technology, and so things are changing really quickly. And that presents a problem with universities because they get budgets, they spend, what did London spend recently? Huge amounts of money. And that's going to last them for about 5 years. Well, the tech is going to move forwards. And so the tech companies are really key in this, in that they need to be completely integrated to the universities. So those technological innovations are feeding through to the university. So for example, the company I just left, we basically put people on set, on shoots. They're on set right now in Poland, and they'll come back and they'll re-educate the guys delivering the academy course on virtual production. And that's a cycle that continues, and that works really well. But just don't forget the manufacturers. My whole career, we've been taking in students, usually from places like Bournemouth and Poole and Ravensbourne, and we'll output 4 or 6 students, and they automatically get jobs. But that needs to be on a much wider scale. And don't forget also the manufacturers actually have full-time employment. So kids can go out on set, come back, and then carry on their normal job. So yeah, really important, I think we include them.
That's a good point, thank you. Right, there's a gentleman, it's Gareth.
Sorry, I was
Still
just going to say, let's not stop at the manufacturers, let's talk about the whole value chain, let's talk about the studios, the property developers, let's talk about everyone that earns crust out of filmed content in the UK. And I think, we've identified 4 subsets, being education, government, industry and other. But absolutely, if we're going to solve this, then everyone has to play a part, and to include the manufacturers, the studios, the cinemas, even the platforms that put things out. You know, it's a collegiate effort. I've tried to compare this to the challenge we faced as an industry with COVID. We faced that down. We wrote the protocols, we got filming again. We were one of the first jurisdictions in the world to start or restart physical production. That's because everyone got together behind a common goal, and that's what we need in the skills space now.
Thank you, Gareth.
So I introduced myself earlier as Neil Hatton from the UK Screen Alliance, but I also sit on the Creative Industries Council, which is a government-convened council which is chaired by the Secretary of State for DCMS. And we've actually, through that, we've done a lot of work with DCMS and DFE on trying to make the apprenticeship levy work, such as, you know, the flexi-job apprenticeship schemes, which Screen Skills have been very valiantly trying to get going. It's not easy, and it's not been a very easy journey at all because of resistance from the industry, because it's a cost. And I think one of the problems, I agree everything that Gareth said earlier about, you know, industry's got to step up on this as well. Everybody's got to stop blaming each other. We've got to put some effort into this. There is, if you look at the economy, the whole economy, there is an organisation called the 5% Club, and it was set up by the chair of Balfour Beatty. And to be a member of the 5% Club, your organisation has got to commit to having 5% of its workforce in paid training. That's 5%, not 1% like BFI are talking about, but 5%. So we're a long way off what is the expected norm. We really need to step up. And I think part of this problem is we are freelance dominated, particularly in production. We're also short-term project dominated. And the tendency is for everybody to think of training as a cost rather than an investment. And we've really got to change that mindset. And I wonder if there's anyone in the room thinking about how we're going to do that.
Thank you, Neil.
Again, Rebecca from Film London, but I just wanted to say, like, how amazing it is to be in a room full of people that I think the change this room can impact in the industry and the county is phenomenal. So I'm really glad I attended tonight. I also, if I can end on an up, I'm seeing a lot of change. I'm seeing we place 450 people into jobs in the industry every year, and we're speaking to studios, and they're willing to make change. So I'm seeing job shares. I'm seeing mothers working 2.5-day weeks and going home and job sharing, which I've never seen before. People with disabilities working as a team of 3, remote working. Accommodations are being made to maintain people in this industry. Studios are paying, like you say, Amazon. Netflix are putting teams in place that when you wrap on Killing Eve, they offer you a job on the next production Netflix has, so you don't have a gap. So there are significant changes taking place. And I also wanted to mention, like, we have 5,500 freelancers, and they're all now looking to train at colleges and institutions during their gaps or when they want to take a break from being on set. And this is giving career sustainment as well. So if any of you want access to some of our freelancers that were working 5 minutes ago on House of Dragon and now want to go teach, like, that opens opportunities for them to pay a mortgage as well. So good stuff is happening, and I feel so encouraged to be here. And thank you. That was all I wanted to say.
We're glad you're here, Rebecca.
Roy from Cube Studios. We're a production company, and we're just in the process of setting up a virtual production studio in Maidenhead. We work on the other side of things. We work in the commercial world, but just to Gareth's and Mike's point, we experience the same skills shortage that we were talking about here, especially in the virtual production space. Now, for ads, it works perfect for us, it's brilliant, but we are struggling to get people through who can actually execute these productions. I'm curious as to whether, the NFTS and Screen Skills work with organizations or SMEs to help us scale up people in the commercial space.
We don't differentiate whether it's commercials or high-end TV or film. We run a virtual production qualification here. We have an LED volume on one of our stages. We run Unreal workshops. We're thinking about virtual art department. That scheme is actually funded by Warner Brothers Discovery, so it's 16 places twice a year, 75% of the fees paid by Warner Brothers Discovery, 25% by the individual. So it costs the individual like 800 quid, and it's a 6-month course. And by the end of it, those people are all walking into jobs at DNEG and all sorts of different places. So if somebody from your firm wanted to do that, you can find that on our website.
Yeah, we have a work experience initiative called CubeUp. So we get kids to come in, but the difference being, because we believe you learn better by actually working on live stuff.
Yeah.
Big risk sometimes, but yeah, I think it's just a better way of learning and getting experience. So we're looking for organizations, people within industry who we can, we get these kids come in. Yes, they have experience within the commercial world, but thereafter there's countless things they could do. So if there's anyone out there who would want to speak, that'd be great.
Thank you very much.
It's not actually a question. I just wanted to make myself known to everyone here. I run a film and TV academy for young children based in Aylesbury, and I was a filmmaker myself as well as a young actor, and I'm really genuinely passionate about film education with young people. What we do is a weekend class where kids learn real practical filmmaking, professional equipment guided by industry experts. We've had some really good support from Odeon, as well as lots of really cool people that I've collaborated with. But if there's anyone in this room that feels like we could collaborate, or you could help me or I could help you, then I'm genuinely really interested. The education system didn't work great for me when I was at school, but as a teacher now myself to young people and someone who's passionate about film and acting, I feel like all of the problems we've talked about tonight, I really want to be part of solving those issues. Especially a lot of the education we've been talking about is towards the older kids, 16 to 18, but my age range is all the way from 8 years old all the way up to 18. And the passion that these kids have is so amazing. And in terms of these 20,000 jobs, there's definitely a huge amount of the next generation that is really interested in film. So yeah, I just echo what I just said. If anyone feels like they could collaborate with my company, my organisation, please get in touch, because I would love to do that.
Yeah, what's your name?
It's called the Film and TV Academy, FTA, and I've got lots of business cards on me, so if anyone fancies one, come and grab one off me after. Thank you.